Hi, and welcome to the Galactic Astrology Podcast. My name is Ursula O'Farrell with the Ascension Playground, and I am joined today by the podcast co host, Julia Balaz. Julia is the founder, creator, and extraordinary visionary of the Quantum Soul Guidance Practitioners course found on her website, galacticastrology.com. Today, we are celebrating the graduation of Sonja Haxel, who is based in central Germany, as she is now certified as a Galactic Astrology Soul Reading professional. So, on behalf of myself, Julia, and all our classmates, welcome, dear Sonja, and congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, Sonja, typically we love to start our conversation with this idea of looking at your background. Tell us a little bit about you and how you came to this particular spiritual path and what brought you to Julia and her wonderful course.
Okay. Some years ago, I finished my astrology studies at an astrology academy. I studied for 3.5 years, including practice with clients. And then I worked on my own part. And before I started my astrology studies, I made a yoga training course for 3 years, also for 3 years. And I finished it. And beside my normal job, I teach. I give yoga classes. And then I started my astrology studies for 3.5 years. And I finished it. And then I quit my job and worked on my own as a yoga teacher and astrologer. And now for nearly 2 years, I also work as a tutor at the Astrology Academy where I made my studies and give lessons, one-to-one lessons for astrology students. Yeah, that's my practice. And now I'm here and I'm ready to give Galactic Soul Journey reports to my clients and give also afterwards consultations to answer questions which occurs from the report. And also I give professional consultations for my clients in German and also give yoga classes, a lot of things.
That's amazing that you were able to become a tutor back in school when you learned astrology. So that is in Germany, am I right? And is it something that can be accessed online for German-speaking students?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And how did you come across Galactic Astrology or my website? Do you remember?
Yeah. I followed Elena Danaan. Beautiful Elena Danaan for 2 years now. And I watched the video, the interview between you and Elena Danaan, but in April. It was so great. Yeah, fantastic. And I looked at your website. I found the astrology course, 101. Yeah. And I started with this course immediately. And then some weeks later, I decided to start with a practitioner course. And now I'm here. And it was amazing. It was so, my head was exploding from the stuff. It was so much. And at the beginning, although I'm a professional astrologer, I thought I don't get the whole stuff in my head. It's too much, but you have to take your time. Yeah, it works. And I started some weeks later to do my own practice with the material and consultations. And then I recognized that it would be better to put the whole content in a report. Yeah, it makes it more clear. Yeah, also for my clients, because I recognize that the content was sometimes overwhelming. Yeah, and I decided to make only written reports for the soul journeys. And then my clients, wow, that is fantastic. And now I have the time to read the whole content, to think about it. And yeah, and it is the best way for me.
I have to say, when I read your clients' reports, they're very lengthy. I find you're a gifted writer for sure. It felt like you're reading a book of someone's soul's journey in such a beautiful way, and how you were able to put together different concepts that I recognized from the course, but in really such eloquent, amazing way. I was very, very impressed with your reports. So fair play that you are doing the written reports and such lengthy. They really feel like little books. So it's so worth it. It's like really the gift that'll keep on giving, because people will feel like they need to revisit it many times and read it maybe in sections and take time to integrate different parts of the soldier. It's very, very comprehensive, amazing amount of work that goes into it. So really well done.
Yeah, thank you. It takes me a lot of time, but learning never ends. Even if you're a professional astrologer, the learning never ends. And at one point, you must say it's enough, and you are learning by practicing.
Would you say that was the turning point, from the moment when you felt very overwhelmed by the huge amount of information? Was there a point when you decided, okay, I'm actually going to try practicing what I'm learning? And is that when you had the breakthroughs and things started settling in? Would that be the advice you give to students?
Yeah. The astrology stuff wasn't new for me. It was the content from the star seeds and the many fixed stars, and the different meanings, and then different information to put it all together with the astrology meanings. And then I tried it and prepare my first consultations, and then it was clearer and more clearer, and then the point was broken, and then it works.
You found your way through practice, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, this is such a great conversation for anyone who is listening, who may consider themselves intermediate or even advanced or professional as an astrologer. What I just heard is, there's just so much more to learn when we bring in these beautiful fixed stars, adding the stars, more stars into astrology. Our Western astrology is typically based on one star, the sun, soul, and then the planets and their influences on the natal chart. But Julia, your amazing research and bringing this gift of the practitioner's course to add in the myth, the narrative, these stories, what I think I heard Sonja said is just, you just keep learning. And if a professional at your level, Sonja, can get a little overwhelmed, I just think for some of our classmates not to worry, take a break, take a sip of water, and just tune into what feels good for you. But I do have a question about your yoga, because I like how you're talking about now the stars and the planets, and then bringing it back to the body, this whole idea of yoga and union. If I could, I'd love to ask you to tell us a little bit more about your yoga practice. And is there a specific yoga? Like, is it Kundalini? Which type are you instructing in?
Hatha yoga.
Hatha.
and yin yoga.
Wow.
Yin yoga is a female kind, very smooth and soft yoga, for relaxing. And Hatha Yoga is a more stronger body yoga. But I teach Hatha Yoga Shivananda.
Shivananda.
Style. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's nice that, certain times of the year you can call in that star that is conjoined our sun to actually go stronger with the yoga. Like if we just passed the Arcturian, this light that you could call in with yoga. Well, this is a good segue to your beautiful website, which is called Yogastro, or Yoga plus Astro, and then Sadhana. So Yogastro Sadhana. And please correct me if I said that incorrectly.
Yeah, it's correct.
So here I'm sharing my screen. This is Sonja's beautiful website, Yoga and Astrology, 2 paths of knowledge, 1 goal. I love this. And as you scroll down after our beautiful and warm welcome, you offer astrological consultations, and now the new box is quantum soul guidance and counseling. Now, when I first came to your website, I could choose either German or translate it into English. So if any of you fall on this landing page, just know it's in both German and English.
I hope you can understand all the content. I don't know if the translation into English is perfect, the translation from the system. I hope so. And you can find information about me, my own life path, and my answers to questions about astrology. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. A tutor of the German Association of Astrologers. It's a teaching institute. Now, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment because I would personally love to know about psychological astrology. I don't think I've ever seen it paired that way. I've heard many different styles of astrology, but if you could share with us a little bit about psychological astrology.
Yeah, psychological astrology is astrology with psychological elements, skills, and a client-centered consultation, interviews, which also psychologists use in their consultations of clients in the clinical practice. And you learn a lot of these practices. Yeah.
Bringing the galactic narrative now into and blending with the psychological, I imagine. So that opens this narrative in some ways that, we're not just earthbound with some planetary psychological energies as metaphor, but it seems like what you're doing is bridging into a bigger consciousness, Sonja, to help us understand that we're more galactic consciousness, and psychologically attuned to that as well.
Yeah, I also search for the deeper meaning in the whole astrology stuff, and I looked for the fixed stars and the asteroids, and I only had the meanings, the explanations of the old classical astrology meanings, and all this didn't make much sense. So I always looked for further information to the fixed stars, and then I found Julia and her course, and this was the breaking point for me. I thought, yes, that is it. Yeah, I searched so much time for this information, and it makes so much sense. And then it was like a puzzle, yeah, that filled a hole of my knowledge. And then all my my own studies of past life, life after death, and rebirthing, and all this stuff, it makes sense. And I have so many proof for my own studies, my feelings, my knowledge. Yeah. And this completes my knowledge. It is astrology of the future. astrology of the future. And yeah, it is fantastic.
It makes me so excited to hear about the combination of psychological consultation now combining astrology, and not only traditional astrology, but galactic astrology as well. It's like I'm inside me, I'm celebrating so much the point of evolution of human consciousness, and how that higher expanded consciousness of our cosmos, higher awareness of our greater cosmic connections is now starting to be infused into the fields of healing arts and therapy. And this is just point of celebration for me. Thank you so much for doing this work.
Thank you.
You know, I would just echo too this idea of yoga with astrology, with the galactic, and how your many paths lead to the same goal of knowledge. And so I love what you said, Sonja, that, you know, it's almost like we have now an architecture or a structure to be able to take all these diverse things that we've studied and learned, but now there's almost like a system to be able to pull it together as we move into the future. And so thank you for sharing that. And in our course, practitioners course that just opened the beginning of 2022, I'm wondering, Sonja, if you would recommend any advice to our classmates as they might feel like they're either new to the class or they've jumped into the deep end and they're wondering, how am I going to navigate with so much? If you have any pearls of wisdom, that would be terrific to hear.
Yeah, it is a lot of stuff. And if you have already knowledge of astrology, it would be easier. Yeah. If not, then take your time. Astrology is a learning process which takes time. Yeah. A process of wisdom, of awareness, of your own spirituality, and it takes time, and you can't accelerate the knowledge and the wisdom. Take your time, see it like a path, of spiritual practice, and it would be easier if you have enough astrology knowledge to give the explanations from the birth chart, and then combines it with the fixed stars, and all together, yeah, it would be perfect. But it takes time, and take your time for experiencing the whole stuff. Yeah, take your time. It is a path of spirituality and wisdom, awareness and consciousness.
That's beautiful advice. Thank you. And I think it's important, as we keep repeating, very similar message from every certified practitioner, that it really is about taking the time, honoring your own journey. It can be overwhelming, but you need to take time to integrate it, and eventually it unravels. I'm so glad that you pointed out when you acknowledge it was overwhelming, but then there is a breakthrough point and it starts all making sense and the puzzle pieces come together. So it's all good. Everyone in their own divine timing.
Yeah, every professional practice takes time, and you can work intuitively. It works, yeah, very well. But together with astrology, it would be better if you have basis knowledge. Yeah.
I would add, you know, I came like you, Sonja. There was this immediacy of something felt right, something felt activated within me. I was not a professional astrologer. I had studied it and I have so many books, but I never considered myself that. So I didn't come with a label thinking that I was an astrologer. Instead, like a language, I was more interested in light language. Let's follow the stories of the stars. And I'd like to just add that these star stories are ancient. It's not like we're making them up now. We're going back thousands of years. And some of the definitions do need an upgrade because we're moving into more of a future quantum like era. But I would just give a shout out in case someone listening has not studied astrology. It's not a prerequisite for Julia's practitioner's course, but I would agree it's easier. However, we have people in the course who are coming know astrology, but they have a burning desire to learn this language. And within every language, there's different dialects, right? So I always think, oh, this dialect is going to be more moving towards flower essences or knowing the body through massage. But there's this interesting idea that if you feel this magnetic pull to learn, you don't have to necessarily become a professional practitioner. This was something I moved into so I could help my family and myself. Like, oh, please, I have to understand it. There's so many kids over here. I was just like, oh man, I got to figure it out. And this was the only thing that kept me like, I just felt awake. Like this was perfect timing. So thank you, Sonja, because you come in with the professional degrees and this commitment and decades of learning, and now you're taking it to the next level with the Galactic. So thank you, thank you. And I just want to say, you know, on behalf of the class, it's so nice to have this extra wisdom for certified practitioners from around the world. So yes, we have German and we have all these other languages. Julia, I'm just astonished how you put out the light bulb and the response is coming in with the right timing. This is not to be rushed. I love this idea of yoga and sadhana or sadhana, you know, but this idea of staying tuned into your body's responses to the path. Is it too fast, too slow, too hot, too cold? Let's just slow it down, because in essence, it really is this knowledge of who you are and this magnificence that there's way more than what we imagine that we are, each of us singularly and then collectively. I'm going to pause here to ask Julia. Julia, as a wrap up, is there any comments that you'd like to grace us with?
Yes, that it's a Halloween night as we are recording this, and for the last 10 minutes there has been fireworks going on, so I think there's a celebration of your it's a beautiful timing as we celebrate your certification and a special moment moving you forward into greater service. So super well done. Congratulations, Sonja.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Very auspicious timing. You know, that is very interesting. And Sonja, to me, you have gone deep, deep, deep to search for the knowledge that has been hidden and even the hidden most gems. So your path is really about finding the greater truth, the knowledge to be then shared with your clients. So thank you so much for coming forward and congratulations.
Thank you.
Much love, everyone. See you again soon.
Take care.
See you.